I picked up this camera about 3 years ago for a number of reasons. Firstly, this is a camera which I can use in locations where I don't want to bring out my larger Fujifilm cameras. My second reason was so I could have a camera on me all the time. Whether I'm walking to the shop to pick up some groceries or I'm just walking around the block, I can slip this into my pocket and I always have a camera capable of taking good photos on me all the time. And my third and final reason is that this Ricoh serves as a backup while I'm traveling for my Fujifilm cameras. Its size and weight really is the key feature of this camera and what sets it apart from the competition. To have a camera this small and for it to have an APS-C sized sensor inside of it is actually pretty amazing. And while other camera companies do make small sized cameras, they include small sensors inside of them, and that really does sacrifice image quality. Whereas with a Ricoh, you have a sensor the same size as the one you get in Fujifilm's cameras, but you can fit it inside your shirt pocket. For me, this means I can have a camera on me all the time without compromising on quality. Now, with that being said, the small size of this camera does come with a couple of drawbacks. First up, there is no weather sealing. Now, living in London, this is quite annoying because sometimes the weather can be unpredictable. You'll go out, it'll be sunny, and then later in the day, you're getting rain. Fortunately, as this camera is so small, you can just slip it into your pocket. Now, I have used it on the light rainfall, and so far I haven't had any issues, but it doesn't really feel like a camera which will hold up too well to heavy rainfall, so I probably wouldn't risk it. Next up, the battery life is not great. Usually I'm bringing 2 or 3 spare batteries with me just to get me through the day. Now, those batteries are tiny and light, but they are not cheap. So if you are picking up this camera, you probably are going to want to buy 1 if not 2 extra batteries. Fortunately, this camera is charged by USB-C, so if you have a power bank with you, you can charge this up along the way as well. Next up, there is no viewfinder on this camera. Now, obviously, to keep this camera as small and compact as possible, some things had to be sacrificed. One of those things was the viewfinder. The screen at the back is actually pretty good. It's sharp and it's bright, but if you are shooting on a sunny day and it's really bright outside, it can be difficult to see what's going on the screen, and there's been times where I've been just guessing the composition and the frame. If you look at the comment section for any video about the Ricoh GR3, you get people talking about dust going into the sensor and being careful about pulling a case over it and so on. In the 3 years I've used it, I haven't really ever put a case or any sort of protector on it. It's gone straight in my pocket or straight into my side bag, and I've had no issues to date. Now, it's not to say it can't happen, but when you're doing street photography, it's not too much of an issue in the first place, even if a bit of dust gets on the sensor. But if you're doing architectural photography or you're taking lots of landscapes, then that is going to be more of an issue. But it's something to consider. I haven't really run into that issue myself. From what I read, if you do get dust into the sensor, it's quite difficult to get it out, and you do have to send it off to get repaired. As for its design, I feel like Ricoh have done a really good job in making this really easy to use with one hand. To be honest, I don't really need a hand strap for this. It's really comfortable in the hand and it never feels like it's going to slip or I'm going to drop it. While the outer shell is pretty much all made of plastic, it doesn't feel too cheap, and after 3 years of using it, it's actually held up really well. So let's quickly run through the specs and talk image quality without taking any pictures of brick walls. So this has a 24 megapixel sensor, and I'd say the image quality is really good, but not on the same level as my X-T5. If anything, I'd say the Ricoh files are a bit too sharp and digital looking. So in post, I'm usually taking away some of that contrast, some of that sharpness, and making it look a bit more natural. The AF on the Ricoh GR3 is actually pretty good. I mostly do street photography and I haven't really run into any issues. I don't need blazingly quick and accurate autofocus in the first place, so it's not too much of an issue for me. But for what I do, the autofocus and image quality has been more than good enough. Now when it comes to shooting at nighttime, the Ricoh GR3 has an f2.8 lens, which isn't the fastest or most ideal lens for shooting at night, but I've still been able to capture some good shots at nighttime with it, so it's not completely useless at night. If you are shooting in pretty well lit areas during the nighttime, it's going to be fine. I have an episode on this channel where I go around London shooting at nighttime with a Ricoh, so if you are interested to see how this camera performs at night, I'll have the link to that down below in the description. The Ricoh have two versions of this camera, the GR3 and GR3X. The 3 has the 28mm lens and the GR3X has the 40mm lens. I opted for this 40mm version simply because I'm used to shooting at this focal length on my Fujifilm cameras. I find for street photography, you can be a bit more creative with what you capture and what you shoot with this focal range. I am thinking about picking up the 28mm version just so I can have both options on me. But for what I do, I found the 40mm version to be a bit more useful, but it entirely comes down to personal taste because other than the focal length, they are exactly the same camera. Despite this camera being so small, Ricoh have still managed to pack a 2-stop ND filter into this, very helpful when you're shooting during bright conditions. And secondly, it has IBIS, so this allows you to capture better images at nighttime and also get a bit more creative with your street photography and include some motion blur. Now, if you have been following the news, Ricoh have announced the GR4. This will have a slightly better sensor, better lens, improved autofocus. It's still not weather sealed, and that will only be the 28mm version and not the 40mm version. With that said, it's probably wise to hang on and wait until Ricoh release the GR4, as the prices for the 3 will probably drop. But if you want the 40mm version, you are going to have to wait a couple years before Ricoh release the Ricoh 4X, if that does ever come out. Interestingly, despite this camera being a couple years old at this point, it hasn't really dropped in value, which goes to show what the demand is like for these GR cameras. In fact, they're actually pretty hard to find new, and if you are looking for one, the second-hand market may actually be your best bet. Who is this camera for? Is it right for you? That really depends on your priorities. If you really want a camera which is small and lightweight and fits in your pocket, and because it fits in your pocket you're going to use it more often, then I'd say it's the right camera for you. If you really are focused on getting the best image quality and you don't really care about how big or how heavy the camera is, then this clearly isn't the camera for you. Also, if you're into video, again, this is definitely not the camera for you. So this camera really is for those of you who really want a camera which fits in your pocket. For me, that's really important because it means I'm going to use this camera all of the time, and also when I'm traveling, as I do photography for work, I always need a backup, and this is a lightweight, small backup where I don't really have to compromise on quality. So while it is a great camera for me, it may not be a great fit for you. But that's the same with all cameras. There is no one-size-fits-all camera for everybody that's going to be perfect. Every camera has its strengths and weaknesses. This one, it's definitely its size and weight. If you don't need a camera this small, then don't get the Ricoh. If you really do want a camera which is tiny, fits in your pocket, and that means you're going to shoot more often, then the Ricoh GR3 makes a lot of sense. So to wrap this up, and after 3 years of using this Ricoh GR3, I can safely say it's one of my favorite cameras and probably the one I had the most fun using. I take it to places and into situations where I wouldn't take my larger Fujifilm cameras, Or if I'm traveling, let's say I'm going to go through airports and airplanes, I'm going to be using this camera. It's the only camera I own which truly fits in my pocket. If I go out and I don't shoot, it doesn't weigh me down. But if I do see something interesting, I have a camera capable of taking great photos in my pocket. And for those reasons, this is a camera which probably is going to be traveling with me for the foreseeable future. And it's probably going to be a camera I use on a near daily basis. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you have any questions or thoughts on the Ricoh GR3, drop those in the comments below and I will try to get back to you. As you can see, there's a slightly new setup here. I'm still working on it, so this is all new. It's also the reason why I am holding the mic in my hand. But yeah, if you have any questions about the Ricoh, drop them in the comments and I will catch you in the next one.